So welcome to those of you that are here live with me. Great to have you here. And also greetings to all of you watching later on through the YouTube channel. We do this type of Raj Yoga overview approximately every 3 months. And it's a great opportunity for me actually to see whether I can condense the main teachings of the Brahma Kumaris into 1 hour. So I enjoy that challenge as well, and I hope it will be clear enough for all of you to follow. I have one motive today, and that is I'm hoping that all of you who have not done the Raj Yoga course will feel motivated and inspired to do that. That main Raj Yoga course by the Brahma Kumaris is free. We're not here to make money, but we do have an agenda to encourage people to take an interest in this spiritual pathway. My mother began studying this spiritual pathway in 1982, and so I was exposed to it since my childhood. And then every day I take a lot of benefit from it. So I study the teachings, I practice the meditation, and I'm trying to improve myself each day. So I certainly feel that it works. And therefore, I'd like to try and motivate all of you to contact your local Brahma Kumari center. And at the end, I will put up the website link for that so that you've got that. And you could contact your local center and attend a course there. All the courses are free, and you can arrange that sometimes at your own convenience. Sometimes they can be on Zoom and sometimes in person. But that's my main motive, to today motivate you and inspire you to feel that I must know more. I must spend some more time. I'm going to be covering a lot of ground. So it will just not be possible in 1 hour for me to go into the detail of everything. And if you go and do the Raj Yoga course, then you're going to be able to explore each of these concepts in more detail with your local teacher. And I think that that will be very, very beneficial for you. So I'm just going to share a PowerPoint, which I'll use. As I say, today is an overview of the teachings of the Brahma Kumaris. And the founder of the Brahma Kumaris was this gentleman known as Brahma Baba, and he founded the organization in 1936 in India. Nowadays, it's inside of Pakistan, that area of India, but it was that northern part of India. My mother began learning from this lady, Daddy Janki, in 1982. She started a center in London, where I was born, and we attended her center for many years and learned many things. So what I'm sharing with you today is not my ideas or my knowledge. There's not really much credit to me at all. These are the teachings that Brahma Baba passed on to Lady Janki, and Lady Janki passed on to us. And so I'm sharing the things that Lady Janki has taught us. So just to give you an idea as to what the Brahma Kumari's teachings are all about, we focus upon the teachings of our founder, and they are known as the Muralis. So this paragraph gives you just a bit of insight into what those teachings sound like and feel like. If you see this entire play of life, if you see this play of nature, it is comprised of two aspects. Firstly, everything is a point. And secondly, everything is light. For example, how do you describe God, the Father? You do not simply call him a point, but you call him a point of light. So the creator and you actor souls in this drama are points of light. If you see the entire play of life, whatever task is carried out, it is carried out on the basis of light. If today light failed in the world, then it would not seem to be the world that you know. And what is the basis of all the instruments, facilities, that should be of happiness? It is light. The creator of this creation is himself light. The light of the soul and the supreme soul is imperishable. And the basis of this play of matter is also light. But that light is not imperishable. And so the entire play of life is based on the point and on light. And so that really sums up what I'm going to present to you today. The first lesson in the Raj Yoga course is, who am I? And you can see that this is a spiritual path. So the message from the Brahma Kumaris is that you are spiritual. You are a spiritual point of light. And that's who the soul is. But we as human beings have become body conscious. When we identify ourselves, we don't think of ourselves as a soul. We think of ourselves as a person. And throughout the whole of our lives, we develop our ego in different ways. It's based on our relationships of the body, parents, siblings, etc. It's based upon friendships. It's based upon school and education. It's based upon jobs and careers and professions, based upon wealth and possessions, based upon achievements. So really, all of our sense of self is based upon these acquired identities. None of these things are innate, are they? We didn't come with any of these things. These are acquired identities. So then the question arises, which identity did you come with before you had any of these things? And so we would say that you are a soul. You've always been a soul. You will always be a soul. All of your other identities are temporary. They are transitory. All of these identities are going to come and go. There isn't a single person, there isn't a single relationship, a single possession that is going to go with you. And we know that. If you ask people, they will say this to you. For example, here in Europe, which tend to be Christian countries, there's a saying that your shroud, when you're buried, doesn't have any pockets. It's just a white sheet over you. You can't take anything with you. Similarly, in Asia, they have such sayings. You can't take anything with you. One saying in India is, you start off with wood and you end with wood. When a baby is born, they used to make the cradle out of wood, sort of like Jesus in a manger, that type of thing. And then you end in a cremation. So you end in wood. So what does that tell us? That this physical identity starts and finishes because this body is not spiritual. This body is from nature. It's a gift from nature. And there are three energies that make up this world, and all three are distinct. You can see here in this picture that the top energy is the energy of God, this great light, and we call him Shiva or Rudra, the eternal light. So his is the greatest, most pure light. And he is not from this world. He is from that spiritual dimension above. Then you have the light of us human souls. And we have our own spiritual qualities, our own virtues, our own energy. And when we enter a fetus, we begin to shape that body according to our personality. And then we play a role through that body. But that fetus itself has its own energy. It's growing. That body has its own energy. But that energy is designed to create, grow, and then die, right? That's nature, right? Everything creates, it grows, and then it dies. So this body is part of nature. But I, the soul, I'm not part of nature. I am from that spiritual world that God is from. So I'm an eternal light, whereas this body is, I wouldn't say it ends, but it just goes back to nature again, doesn't it? It changes its form. So everything in this material world is basically solid, liquid, and gas, and it changes between those three states. Everything in this world is also like based on points of light as well. Everything is very, made out of little small molecules. So nature is also tiny, tiny points. You, the soul, are also tiny point sitting in the middle of your brain, controlling your body from that seat of the brain. And from there, you're expressing your energy. So you're enabling that body to move and to perform actions. But you've forgotten that. And so you just would identify with the body. But if the body is temporary, that means our egos are temporary, right? So we think of ourselves as big people, but we are actually big people who are tiny little dots in the universe, right? We're not really very big at all. We're all very vulnerable because this body is very vulnerable. At any moment, it could end. So as we identify with the temporary, inside, we become very insecure. We begin to feel a great deal of fear. And we are needy because the nature of the body is to always seek, to have that desire. So the energy in nature is called pran. So the pran is running through nature. And we mistake that for the soul. We sometimes think that it's the same energy. Or we mistake the soul and the pran for God. We think it's all the same energy. But in Raj Yoga, we learn that actually all three energies are very separate to each other. The Supreme Soul, he is eternally pure, perfect energy. We souls, we're influenced, of course. All our experiences, they influence, they change us on the inside. So our energy continues to become mixed. And then you have the energy of nature. And nature is also changing as time goes on. And you can see at this time, nature's got a very restless energy. So everything is this point of light. The energies are all points. The energies are all lights. And let's talk more about the supreme point of light, Shiva. So Shiva is Alpha. He is the starting point. He is the ending point. He is the source of all of our energy. The soul is in essence love, peace, wisdom, power. You think about all of the things that you do. Behind it all are these qualities, aren't they? Different virtues, different qualities. People are showing kindness, people are showing care, people are showing precision, people are showing creativity. So the essence of every soul are all of these qualities. But where did we get our qualities from? Where did we fill ourselves with energy? So the starting point for all of us is this energy, this Shiva point. And so he is the unending ocean of qualities. He is the unending treasure store. He is the source. He is the seed of humanity. And so this soul, this supreme soul, is where we start from. And this is the soul who we must return to. And this soul is the one where we have a right to take from and we can become full. But Daddy Genki used to explain that because we've lost this connection with Shiva, the incorporeal point, with Rudra, what's happened is that we continue to try and take down here, taking from people, taking from achievement. So we're not really filling the soul, we're just feeding the ego. And by feeding the ego, we don't really become full on the inside. We're temporarily satisfied, but not really full on the inside. So no matter how much we chase, part of us still carries on feeling empty. We know that the people we are dependent on, they're not going to be here forever. It scares us. We know that the wealth we have is temporary. The house is temporary. The job is, we know it. We know this. We don't want to think about it. Because on the inside, we can feel the emptiness. So Danny Genki used to say that we must all dedicate to focusing our mind on this Shiva point. And the more that we remember this Shiva point, the more we can absorb his energy, his light into ourselves, and we can fill all the gaps inside of us. This Shiva point is also able to clean the soul because we've also absorbed a lot of rubbish. All of the experiences of sorrow, all of the experiences of hurt and anger, but also all of our own wasteful thinking, ordinary thinking, all of our own negativity. That's filled our consciousness. So the good parts get suppressed, and these other parts of rubbish, they can dominate our consciousness. So by remembering this incorporeal Shiva, we can also cleanse ourselves because he is the purifier. And through remembering, through absorbing his energy, our consciousness continues to become clean and clear. And what's sitting underneath all the rubbish? Well, Brahmavibha's teachings were that all of you have an angel sitting inside of you. There's great potential in the soul, but as long as it is burdened by all of this rubbish, burdened by this it's like a legacy of trauma that either we've experienced or caused, then that angel is far away from our mind. But the more that we connect with Shiva, then that process of purification continues to emerge, the inner potential. And so that then leads us to this understanding of three realms. I've been speaking to you about Shiva, the point, being not from this world, not from this realm. And Shiva, the point, Rudra Shiva, is incorporeal. He is beyond this world, he's non-corporeal. And so Shiva, the point here, he belongs to this realm, which is Nirvana, the land of Nirvana, the land of Brahman. And this is not made of the materials of this world. It's made of light. It's a place where it's very warm, powerful, pure light, and also where silence is a substance. The word nirvana literally means without sound. So this land of nirvana, where the soul can exist without a body, and you, the soul, can just be free as a point of light, where Shiva, the point, lives. This is your original home. You start off in this land of nirvana. You come down here and combine with the body. And then when your journey is over, it's time to go back. Go back home. Go back to Shiva. The middle realm is the world of angels. And so as a soul continues to purify themselves, then Dedi Janki used to explain that a soul that has removed all of their rubbish, removed all of their baggage, they can then go and become an angel because they will have unlocked the angel within. Oh, sorry. They will have unlocked the angel within. And that angel then becomes their reality. So then such a soul will not need to take rebirth in the corporeal realm, but they can play that role of being the angel who can support humanity through the power of thought, through the power of vibrations. And then we have this world. So you'll see how the population of this world has continued to grow throughout the centuries. And that's because more and more souls have continued to come down from nirvana, combining with the body. Everyone in this world is actually a soul who's combined with the body. And that leads us to this cycle of time. I was saying to you at the start that these two of the three energies, the energy of the soul and the energy of nature, continue to change. The energy of the Supreme Soul of Shiva is constant, continuously pure. But the energy of the soul, the energy of nature, that continues to change. And when we talk about time, we mean change. That's what we mean by time. That's what time means. And we can see, if you think back to when you were a child, what were you like? What was the world like? And you look at now, you would see that there's been a change. And because there's been a change, you know that time has passed. So it's this change that is the indicator of time. And this world passes through four great ages. A golden age, Satyug, a silver age, Treta Yuga, a copper age, Dwapar Yuga, and the current age we're in is Kali Yuga. And it's depicted in the form of different stages of energy. So that when the world was in its golden age, the soul and nature were in their golden stage. Now, both souls and nature are in their iron stage, in Kali Yuga. And the word Kali Yuga, Kal Kalesh, it means disturbance, it means division, it means conflict. So the energy within nature, within the pran running through nature, is one of disturbance, restlessness. So we can see how angry the energy in nature has become. Sometimes a flood, sometimes an earthquake, sometimes something else. But also the pran inside of your body will bring different illnesses. And then we can also see how we souls have become heavy because we are also absorbing all sorts of negative energies. And so Daddy Janki used to say that now we're at the end of the eye. And we're in this special transition where one cycle is ending and another cycle is about to begin. So in Brahma Kumaris, we don't believe in the end of the world, but we believe in a continuous, eternal world, but that the ages continue to change. And now, why we need to focus on purifying the soul is because it's time for the cycles to change, for the Iron Age to end and the Golden Age to begin. And in order to bring about the Golden Age, we have to re-energize the soul. We have to purify the soul. The soul has been continuing to go through a process of rebirth. Once a soul leaves nirvana and enters this cycle down here, it continues within this cycle until the end. So you, the soul, have not just lived once, but you have lived multiple times, and you continue to leave one body and enter a new fetus. And then you've got a brand new family, a brand new circumstance, and you continue to play a different role until it's time for you to go. The soul is a traveler. You're never permanent in any one place, in any one body. You're always a guest. And so we lose sight of that. We become so absorbed in our current life. We lose track that actually the soul is always on a bigger journey. It's always just passing through and is moving towards its next chapter. And this leads us to the staircase of rebirth. As you can see, it has these 4 ages of the cycle. The golden age at the top, then the silver, then the copper, and then the current iron age. The soul is a battery, and so as it plays its role down here, it continues to discharge. When a soul is new from nirvana, it has a greater amount of energy, and so it shines down here. So for example, maybe many of the famous people in the world at this time, they might be newer souls from nirvana. And maybe some of the souls who are struggling now, they could be older souls who've lost energy as they've been going through their process of rebirth. And so we continue to descend the staircase until the end of the cycle. Within this drama, within this play, this cycle of time, there are many different religions. And all of these religions play a role. So God values all of these religions. He is the seed of all of these religions. So this one point, Shiva, is the source of all souls, of all spiritual energy. And so within this big human family, this big human family tree, we have many smaller families. We have a Christian family, a Muslim family, a Buddhist family, a Sikh family. And those are just a few of the larger religions, but there's so many different faiths, different religions. And they're all right in their own way. So any soul might belong to a particular faith, and that's their place within this big family tree. The seed for all of them is the one. He is the unifying point. But we've forgotten that. And so we've spent so many centuries fighting with each other. We've spent so many centuries criticizing each other. But actually, the seed is one for all. Each of these religions also go through the stages of golden, silver, copper, and iron. So when the founder of that religion initially establishes, it's like a golden age, and there would be much more accuracy according to the teachings. And then over time, every religion expands, and you might see that many people who are leading in that religion, they might not actually be following the original teachings. They could be contradicting the teachings of the founder. So in this way, every religion goes through its different stages and degrades. And then when this tree is completely at its end, when it's time to degrade, everything is completely degraded, then it's time for the new cycle to begin, and we can start again afresh. Time for everyone to return back to nirvana, and then we have a fresh start again. By remembering Shiva, drawing that energy into ourselves, we can gain 8 practical powers that we need to negotiate our lives. These powers are vital for self-mastery. Any percentage that we're lacking these powers will mean that we'll be using shortcomings. We'll be using anger, we'll be using greed, we'll be using attachments, we'll be using ego, we'll be using lust. All of these different other weaknesses will come in because we don't have these 8 powers to the full level. So for example, we need the power to discern, we need the power to judge or to take decisions. We need the power to face or to confront situations. We need to be able to cooperate. Sometimes we get too involved. Sometimes we need to get involved. Sometimes we need to withdraw. And then we also need to tolerate sometimes. We need to be able to put up with all sorts of different negativity that comes our way. And one ability that we've lost is this ability to control our mind, to be able to pack up all of our thoughts and control the mind, and to be able to merge everything, whatever happens in our day, to be able to merge it so that it has no effect on our consciousness. So as we develop our yoga, we're absorbing energy, we're accumulating energy from Shiva, and that then enables these 8 powers to continue to grow within us. This Raj Yoga, this connection with Shiva is very powerful, and we can develop multiple siddhis. Siddhis are spiritual capabilities. I'm just going to run through a few of them here, just to give you a little bit of an insight. So, the siddhis through Raj Yoga, I think I have a feeling it's white and the color is not quite showing up. So I'm just going to go to a smaller screen. I think it can show up. It wasn't showing on the bigger projector. Hopefully you can still read that okay. So firstly, through a divine intellect, decisions are always made accurately. So this is a siddhi, crucial one. That as we connect our mind and intellect with Shiva, then we take the right decision at the right time for oneself, for serving, and also for relations and connections. So we become a very reliable, accurate decision maker. And then for ourselves, as our intellect continues to become divine, we're able to get to know God the Father better. We're able to know ourselves and others' souls as they are and what they are. So we develop this self-realization. We develop this power of silence as we practice our remembrance of Shiva. That's what meditation is. the remembrance of Shiva. Shiva as our father, our mother, our brother, our sister, our friend, our teacher. We learn how to experience these different relationships with Shiva. And through that, we develop our power of silence. Remember, in nirvana, silence is not the absence of something. In our world, down here, silence is the absence of sound. It's an absence. But in nirvana, silence is a material. And so we're accumulating this power of silence. So I'll just read this. This is from one of Baba's teachings, like I read to you at the beginning. The power of silence will make the whole world peaceful from peaceless. It will transform not only human souls, but it will also transform the elements of nature. The pran running through nature is very angry at the moment because of the way in which we've treated the world for so many centuries. We've used every element of nature to harm. We have fought with each other. We have destroyed nature. If you think whether it's spilling blood on land, whether it's dropping bombs out of the sky, whether it's polluting the air, whether it's polluting the oceans, whether it's using the oceans to ship slaves everywhere, you can see, can't you, that throughout the centuries, we've used every single element of nature in a negative way. So the pran has transformed into this negative state. So through this pure energy of Shiva, through developing silence, we can transform the elements of nature. The power of silence now has to be known and experienced in an even deeper way. The more powerful you become with this power, the more you will continue to experience the importance and greatness of the power of silence. At present, you experience achieving success through the power of words and the power of the facilities of service. But the power of silence is very much greater than the power of words and facilities of service. And just to continue, just as through words you enable souls to have feelings of cooperation and love, in the same way, when you yourselves have good wishes and are stable in the stage of love, whatever your feelings are, you will enable the same feelings to arise in them. Your good wishes will ignite their feelings. Just as a lamp ignites a lamp, in the same way, your powerful good wishes will easily make the most elevated feelings arise in others. So as we develop this power of silence, our good wishes are amplified. And so they're able to spread through humanity, and they can become more powerful than someone's bad feelings. So we can actually prevent souls performing negative actions as we develop this power of silence. Just as you now have all the physical tasks carried out with words, in the same way, you can just as easily carry out and enable others to carry out any physical task with the elevated method of the power of silence, that is, with the power of pure thoughts. So souls will feel inspired to do positive things as we share these vibrations of silence. Just as the power of science has the facilities of the telephone and wireless, in the same way, these pure thoughts will give you the experience of getting a task done by speaking directly face to face, or as if speaking on the telephone or the wireless. So you saw the angelic region there at the start. So the more that we move closer to our own angelic self, then this is what an angel does. The angel inspires positive actions to be performed. So just to finish with, I'm going to pull up the Brahma Kumari's website, because as I mentioned to you, my motive for doing this presentation is for those of you who have not done the Brahma Kumari's course, then I would like to hope that you would be inspired and you would feel motivated to do that. And so I'll just share the screen with you now so you can see that. So if you see this brahmakumaris.org at the top, so this is the website you can go to, brahmakumaris.org. And you see here, there's a center locator. I know those of you here are from different countries, and those of you watching later on through YouTube, you'll be in many different places. And we like to encourage localized support. And also, if you speak different languages, you can have it in your language. But the teachings are the same, so everything is standardized in all the centers around the world. So you don't need to feel you'll get something different somewhere and something different somewhere else. You will get the same teachings wherever you go. And so here you can see that there's a center locator, and you could look for your country. For example, if you're in Austria, then you can see that they've got a couple of cities where they've got centers there. If you're in, say, the United States, got a few more centers there. So you can see in many of the larger cities or states, they've got centers. So like in California, you can scroll down and say in San Francisco, there's a couple of centers like that. So if you go to this brahmakumaris.org and then look to the center locator, and then for those of you who might like to look through the YouTube channel, there's Awakening. So this is the channel on YouTube, Awakening TV. So you could go into that one. So you can see Peace of Mind TV. That's one of the Brahma Kumari's TV channels. And you can see that Soul Reflections, you've got many different options on Peace of Mind TV. You can see what different lectures and programs that Brahma Kumaris are doing. And that one can be in Hindi, some of them can be in English. And then you can see this Awakening series with Brahma Kumaris. It has these different courses that you can do, the different points the different points that I've covered today. And you can have a look at that one. So that's where I would like to guide you if you wanted to go onto the YouTube channel. So there's Peace of Mind TV, and then you've got like, I think a Peace of Mind, I think it's Awakening. There's also in English. And you can have a look at those type of lectures there, like that. So I'm going to stop the presentation now. And those of you joining on YouTube, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. And I hope that you will go onto the Brahma Kumari's website, find your local center. And I covered everything really quickly, so you'll be able to go along with the teacher slowly and understand each of those concepts more. So I hope you've been motivated and inspired to do that. I'm just going to turn off the recording now.